Hi guys, we are back and we are doing something that is very similar to what you've been doing in past units, and it's called average rate of change, or AROC. And it's just really a fancy name for the slope. But we may give it to you in different ways, such as interval notation, which you should hopefully be familiar with by now. So we can either use the slope formula, or in these two problems that we're going to look at in a second, we can actually just graph them physically and find the slope using rise over run. Okay? So two ways again, rise over run, or you remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. However, for these two, I am going to just do this using the rise over run. So if you remember that this 2 is my x value, so I'm going to look for my y value. So my x value is 2. Let's look for my y value. So my y value is going to be up here, which is what, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And now my x value is going to be 5. So when my x is 5, my y value is -1. Okay. So like I said, I am just going to count that. So I'm just going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is down 9. 1, 2, 3 over 3, which equals -3 would be my average rate of change. If you use the slope formula here, you would get the same answer. Okay. Here's a different way of writing an interval using the inequalities. So we're going to find the rate of change from the x value of 2 to 6. Alright, so let's go ahead again and find. So when x is 2, what would y be? 1, 2, 3, that would be -3. Okay. And then when x is 6, let's find out what y would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1. Again, slope formula, or counting again, which I find a lot easier on these. 1, 2, 3, up 4. 1, 2, 3 over 4. So 4 over 4 is 1. Okay, the average rate of change is 1. Now, let's take a look here. Sometimes they're going to give you an equation, all right? So when they give you an equation, what we're going to do is, again, these are my x values. And you may want to get out your calculator for this if you have it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 4 for my x value, and then I'll get my y value. So we're going to do 2, and that would be -4 minus 1 squared minus 4. Okay, which is what? That's -5 squared is 25, right? Minus 4. Again, all this can be done in your calculator. So that would be what? 90 minus 90, what would that be? 50 minus 4 would would be 46, right? All right. So my first point's going to be -4, 46, because this equals 46. Now let's find out when I plug in 2, right? So when I plug in 2 to the same equation, that's going to be 2, and then that's 2 minus 1 is 1 squared minus 4, which would be what? 2 minus 1 would be 2 times 1. Minus 4 is going to be -2. Okay? So that's negative, sorry, not -2. That's 2, -2. So right here are my 2 points, and I am going to use the slope formula now, okay? So if you remember, the slope formula is going to be what? -2 minus 46 over 2 minus -4, which would be 46, 48 over 6. And that's -48, right? So my average rate of change for this particular problem would be -8. Okay, a lot of work, huh? All right, let's check out the next one. So again, I'm going to do the same thing for B. I am going to plug in -1 first, so 3 times -1 minus 10. That's going to give me -13. So my first ordered pair is -1, -13. Now I'm going to plug in 3, so 3 times 3, 9 minus 10 would be -1. So again, x was 3. These are my y values, guys. That's -1. Let's go ahead and use the slope formula again. So that would be -1 minus -13 over 3 minus -1, which would be what? 12 over 4, or my average rate of change is going to be 3. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to do C, and I want to show you how to do it in your calculator, okay? So hopefully you have our graphing calculator here, okay? Let me just clear the screen here. Okay. All right. So what you can do is you can use our table function, okay, which is going to allow you to, now let me show you how I did this, okay? So let me just clear everything out. I'm going to put the equation in. So the equation is 3, and then I'm going to put parentheses. Now if you go over here, this is the variable button, so I'm going to hit that. It's going to give me the x, okay? And then I want to raise that to the 3rd power. So I'm going to take that to the 3rd power. Okay, let me go back down there. Let me clear that out again. Okay, all right, let's do it again. So you're going to do 3, then you're going to put in your variable. Okay, And then you see this little caret button? I'm going to hit that because I want to raise that to the third power. And you're going to go over to this and you're going to make sure you tab down here so you could go ahead and add your 3. All right. Then I'm going to press enter. And if you'll see start, and you'll notice we're going from -2 to 2. We're trying to find the slope, right? So if you go to start, let's start off with -2. So I'm going to hit my -2 button, right? Okay, I'm going to start there. So I'm going to, then you'll just keep on hitting enter. Step means it goes by ones, all right? So you just keep going to OK, and boom, I've got the table. And you're going to see 2 points you want to get. You got -2, -21. That is one of my points. And then if I tab on down here to 2, I got 227. Okay? So basically what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to find the slope now. Really simple. So that's going to be negative. And we'll go back here, guys, and we could do it here. Okay. So from the table, we got -2, -21, okay. And then the other one was 227. Now, if you didn't have your calculator, you'd have to just plug in the points, okay? So again, it's going to be what? 27 minus -21 over 2 minus -2. We're going to do all our good stuff to keep change stuff. And we get 48 over 4, which makes my average rate of change 12. Okay? So again, another way of doing this. All right, so our last part here is getting the average rate of change from a table. And again, these are my X values. I need my Y values, so we're going to find this one, which is 225. And we're going from this one, which is 638. Okay, so what would that be? 38 minus 25 over 6 minus 2, which gives me 13 over 4. You can't really do much for that, so that is my average rate of change. All right. Last one is I'm going from 1980. So the year is my X value. Population is my Y value. Okay, so there is 1 point. Okay. And then my next one is 2000. All right. May want to get your calculator out for this one. Okay. So again, we're going to put in 33.9 minus 23.7 and the year 2000 minus 1980. Okay. And actually, I'm going to want to tabulate this all out because I want to give you the population. So after I do all the math, I think it comes out to 0.51 million people, right? Per what? We're going by the year, okay? That's sort of a real-life application problem. All right, there we go.